are contesting an election, they tell you in the face, I am contesting. So when I go out, I know the kind of things they ask me. And most of these politicians will not want to tell the electorate how much they earn. And then when you look at the projects that they say they go home to do, nobody wants to go to a community and sit down and ask that in this community, I am going to now submit a list of contracts to ministries. What do you really need in your community here? They don't do this.
They don't.
So you just stay in Abuja and decide that, okay, motorcycles. You buy motorcycles, instead of going to do a borehole, you take motorcycles to go and give 10 people. And then you claim you bought them from your money, from your pocket. Then you, instead of giving them a clinic, you go home and say, okay, let me do a borehole, a hand pump borehole of 350,000 naira. And then instead of giving them water where they need water, you don't give. Instead of giving them a clinic where they need it, you don't give. You just sit and decide what you feel should be done. That is not the essence of representation. That is why I'm saying we don't have ideological politicians. Unless we have people who can go back to these societies and ask them, what do you want in this place? If it is a thing that you can bring an NGO to support them with such a kind of projects, why not go with the same NGO, sit down with the communities and ask, the contribution you are going to make is 10%. I am going to make the 10%. But select a project among 3. Which one do you want in this village? The youth should stay here, the women should be here, the elders should be here. You, the elders, these are 3 projects. Write them according to the way you want it done. So if you have these 3 groups coming together to agree that what we need is water, then give them water. If they say it's hospital, give them hospital. But the idea you stay somewhere and decide for like 100,000 people that, okay, they need 10 motorcycles. For me, it's their robbery. It's not worth dying for to go and vote for people who cannot really come back and talk to you after winning elections. So as far as I'm concerned, we don't have people with principles, people with ideologies who really want to serve. It's people that just want to be noticed. As soon as you are voted, you can't take calls. You can't call them and they pick your call, even as big as you could be. You want to give an idea to them, they will tell you, no, I don't need this. So for me, unless we go back and the electorate are now going to choose those they feel they can be accessible to. If not, we'll continue this way, that there will be no democracy.
Are we helpless?
Before you take your next question, Mr. James, am I right?
Yeah.
Mr. James said something. He said he is contested. Now, from the things you wrote, that you can see that this is a man who has marshaled what he wants. But if he does not have money to go and give people the electorate, you'll be surprised that the same people that he has burned midnight candles trying to envision what to do for them, they will leave him and vote for a man without ideas who has money to buy salt and maggi for them. That's where the problem is coming from majorly. That's why money backs, as opposed to men and women of ideas always having their way. And that is the unfortunate part of our politics in this part of the world.
In all of this,
Yes.
in all of this, are we helpless? 19, 20 years down the line of our democratic life, no politicians with ideologies to bring dividends of democracy down to the downtrodden, down to the grassroots. In all of this, are we helpless, or there are better days ahead?
Well, we're not helpless, right? The system is evolving.
20 years after?
Oh, sure. The system is evolving. It would be wrong for us to compare democracy in Nigeria with democracy in America. The system in America has lasted for over 200 years.
Yes, but
Right.
I also believe that in 20 years, you should be able to have a pointer to the fact that we are making progress.
No, now let me make a point.
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of people who emerged as governors in 1999, the quality of a lot of people who emerged as governors in 1999, particularly from certain states in the north, and you look at those who are governors today, you see that there is a remarkable difference. There's a remarkable improvement. Do you understand? If you also look at the quality of people who represented certain federal constituencies and senatorial districts as at 1999, right? And you compare that quality to the quality of today, there is an improvement, right? There are a lot of things that people did in 1999, the electorate, that they no longer do today, right? There are people now that you just cannot go and give them motorcycles and you say you are empowering them. They will tell you that, look, instead of giving me a motorcycle, which will be a personal benefit to me, construct a borehole in my community. So if you put all of that together, you see that we are moving forward, right? We are moving away, gradually we are moving away from, permit me to say, wheelbarrow empowerment, which my friend's governor did a couple of months ago.
Man, if he denied.
Okay, very quickly, Max. I know for the want of time, we are almost on top of the hour. Can you tell us what are the legal implications of these defections that have happened? Don't forget that we also had the same scenario in 2015 during the eve of that particular
Yes, section 68, subsection 1, paragraph G of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, prohibits movement from one political party to the other unless where there's a division in that political party. But that law is only as good as we have it on paper. Everything now depends on the discretion of the presiding officer. Right? In Akwa Ibom State, shortly after the 2015 general elections, before handing over, a member of the State House of Assembly defected from PDP to the APC. His seat was declared vacant. He remained outside until the lifespan of that assembly came to an end. The same thing happened in Cross River. A member of the Cross River State House of Assembly sometime last year defected to the APC. His seat was declared vacant. Then you now come to the National Assembly. There have been a lot of movements in the National Assembly from 1999. No presiding officer has declared any seat vacant. And of course, you cannot even compel them to declare such seats vacant. Professor Boroface, a senator of Ondo State extraction, defected from Labour Party to APC. The Senate president was PDP, David Mark. David Mark never declared his seat vacant, right? Joshua Darie was elected in this 8th Senate, was elected under the Labour Party, right? He defected to the APC. The Senate President Bukola Saraki did not declare his seat vacant, so he remained there, right? You go to the House of Reps, the same thing, a lot of people. You go to the same Senate, Hobu Zodima left PDP for APC. Senator John Owaneno, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, left PDP for APC. A certain senator in Akwa Ibom left PDP for APC. The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, did not declare their seats vacant, right? So we cannot expect magic now that people have left or people are leaving the APC, right? You know, it will not be justice, it will not be fairness to all, it will not be fair to all, I'm sorry to say, if you now declare the seats of those who left APC right now vacant. Like the Speaker said in his ruling yesterday, the House Leader Femi Gbadabiamila raised this issue before the House yesterday, and the Speaker said the same ruling have been given, that the issue of division is a matter of fact, that the same ruling have always been given on issues like this is the same ruling I will give today. You know, so a law only becomes active when it is enforced. So long as we are concerned in Nigeria, except Cross River and Akwa Ibom, to the best of my knowledge, we have not actually enforced Section 68, subsection 1, paragraph G of the Constitution, which says you must vacate your seat if you leave the platform under which you were elected as a lawmaker, not as a governor now or as a president, as a lawmaker.
Yeah, James, let me take you up on this because of our time. What danger do you think this portends for our political space?
Well, it doesn't portend any danger anyway. I think it's one of the beauties of democracy.
Laying down the Constitution?
Yes, as far as we are concerned, because if you will say you will adopt that Constitution, we'll still go back to issue of ideology. These people cross-carpeting are those that doesn't have plans, or the ones who win elections.
And don't you think that it's wise for the presiding officer to declare their seat vacant?
Well, it is right for him to do that. But,
but
he is the presiding officer, and you are joining him to increase his numbers and then make him stronger so that he can have immunity about impeachment. The only fear I feel we should be trying to prevent now is the issue of governors graduating from governor to National Assembly. That is one fear. Because when you have a National Assembly that is made of ex-governors who are so rich and so strong, the president may become so ineffective to control them in National Assembly. So that's the only way I feel we should be trying to make sure that these things doesn't happen by legal representation. I think those of them who are lawyers should be able to come up with an issue where this people should be retired after that. If it is ideology, you will discover that as a governor, you're higher than a senator. You are controlling the whole state. And then you don't descend so low to go back and control 6 or 7 local governments as a senator. So, and then you start going back home again to disturb the sitting governor. So it will get to a point that National Assembly all will be governors. Because he raised the issue of not too young to contest, and he asked you a joking question. I hope not too young to sponsor election. So, because in here you just have to sponsor yourself, or someone supports you. But in supporting you, I don't know what it takes, because nobody has come to sponsor me except my friends. When I'm going, they raise some money for me, take fuel, take this one, take this one. So it is becoming difficult that if you say not too young to run. That would have been a very good place where you can now start nurturing younger men to grow up and take responsibilities in offices. But because money is involved, they're not too old to retire. May not want to go and give the not too young to run. So I feel we must take a look at this. Not too old to retire and not too young to run.
And not too young to fund election.
Well, I don't know what else to say. I think at this point, I should be calling the show a wrap. Thank you very much, Van de Van, for giving us that comic relief, to use and end the show. Max Oga, thank you very much for finding that.
Thanks for having me.
I hope that
thanks also for the privilege of letting me meet an
brother.
Personality like this.
Thank you so much.
And my brother.
Yeah.
They call us Udam. We call them Munchi.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Munchi in Hausa means we have eaten.
No, Fulani.
Yeah. Okay, Fulani. All right. This is how much time will permit us on the show today. I hope we've been able to bring you up to speed on some of the implications of what happened in the National Assembly. Politics should be more of ideology rather than personal interest. Until we hit your screen again, same time next week, God willing. Stay out of trouble. And thanks for watching tonight's episode. I am Paris Samuel. Bye for now.
My name is Femi Anikula Pokuti. This is just to tell you, beg you, plead with you, don't let anybody lure you into being violent. It's very important for us to have a peaceful elections. We need to think about the future of this country, of our children. We can be a great nation. And the first step is desist from being violent. Let's have a peaceful elections.
Sunana Yakubu, amma an fi sani na da Yaks. Abu mafi mahimmanci shine har yanzu muna zaune da ƙwayar cutar polio a ƙasar mu. Wasu sun san digon rigakafin polio, wato digo biyu da ake bada na baki. Wasu kuma ba su san da haka ba. Wasu suna tunanin wannan digo guda biyu sau ɗaya kawai ya wadatar. Shin digo biyu ya wadatar? Bari mu bincika. Yaya aiki?
Lafiya kalau.
Digon mai guda biyu kawai zai isa soya kosai?
Ba zai isa ba.
To, ta ce ba zai isa ba. Ina zuwa. Na gode. Shin za ki amfani da digon nono guda biyu kawai ki dama fura?
A'a, ba zai yiwu ba gaskiya. Saboda nonon ne yake taimakawa wurin dama furan.
Na gode. Tambaya nake, shin digon ruwa biyu kawai zai isa hada shayi?
Ai ba zai yiwu a hada ruwa da shayi da digon ruwa biyu ba. Dalili kuwa ai ba zai isa mutum ba. Dole sai ya kai kaman kofi daya.
Barka da.
Barka gare.
Da Allah tambaya nake so yi.
Allah ya sa na sani.
Shin digon man fetur guda biyu, digon man fetur guda biyu zai isa ya sa wannan mashin aiki?
A'a, ba zai sa shi aiki ba gaskiya.
Dalili fa?
Saboda ai bai wadace shi ba.
Haba.
Kwarai da gaske.
To nan ina zaka?
Dan je nan bayani.
Da Allah bari bi ka. Allah bai na wani. Lafiya lau. Kwayan gishiri biyu kadai. Shin zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi?
A gaskiya ba zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi ba. Sai an ɗan sa gishirin da yawa tukuna sannan a haɗa sannan ya garwaye naman har ya yi daɗi.
Na gode. Kamar yadda muka je, ɗigo biyu kawai bai sa ya wadatar da wani abu mai ma'ana ba. Haka ma ɗigon rigakafin polio. Dole ne yaro ko yarinya su samu ɗigo biyu akai-akai na rigakafin polio. Wannan ɗigo biyu akai-akai shi zai wadatar wajen kare yaro ko yarinya daga kamuwa da cutar koko kowace irin cutar polio.
You're watching People's Television, your people's preferred station, powered by you.
On topical issues as always, Nigeria right now. Come along.
Gaskiya wuta noma.
As it relates to their relationship. Jackson. So that's it. This is Nigeria right now. Action. Hi, this is Nigeria Right Now with Dixon Irebu. As 2019 is unfolding, the purpose of Nigeria Right Now show is to bring those burning issues to the table. The other day, this place was unveiled, and we have just come to discuss today with the spokesperson of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization. Mr. Segun Sowunmi is our guest today. Come along as we go discuss those issues and those areas that would make you probably consider or not consider an Atiku presidency. Come along as we move. Mr. Segun Sowunmi.
Hello,
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you. Please sit down. Please sit down.
All right, thank you. This is Nigeria Right Now. You have just been given the assignment to market Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. How did that come about?
Well, thank you very much. I think I'm not being given the responsibility to market Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar is already a marketable product that you only need a little bit of explanation around him.
Okay.
What had happened was that in the build-up to the 2019 coming up election, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, having completely researched and convinced himself that the issues around the country required him to now launch himself forward again and try and work out to be the president of the country, he decided that he needed to put a team together. And in doing that, he got a couple of people, DGs, different responsibility for different people. And then a lot of people came up with the suggestion that following me on television, management of narrative for the PDP and all that I may be a good Director General for Media and Publicity, and His Excellency graciously, being the kind of person that he is, he likes to headhunt for good skills, and he got me on board, and I'm eternally grateful to him for the opportunity.
You're glad to want to do this?
I like him. I like him a lot. I like the kind of person that he is. He's very calm. He's very, very intelligent. He's very focused. He's a man of very little words. When he speaks after he's reflected. He's a very decisive person who takes action. He knows how to delegate responsibility. I like what he's done with himself in his private life. He's a big-time entrepreneur. He's someone who looks for opportunity where others are seeing trouble. He situates his business in such a way that his major desire is to, first of all, meet a need, create value, and if possible, also make money in the way. And I have observed that, yes, he's done well with himself.
He's done well.
He's done very well with himself, and he's done well for people. Atiku Abubakar has really done well for people.
So some will have some different opinion about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar.
Yes.
Some will say, okay, politically he hasn't been stable. How will you look at that point of view?
Yeah, that question comes up a lot, especially from the same politicians who should know better, and they try to push that kind of narrative around for those that are not informed. First of all, politics is a process where you come together as people to try and use the platform to impact the lives of people around you, and you try to do that trying to form government. Occasionally you join people to create a platform, and some other person will use the platform, and sometimes you also look at what is going on in the country and you decide that, okay, based on what you can feel as what you can deliver, what you can offer, you offer yourself. Atiku has merely been guilty of the fact that his passion for the country is very heavy. He has such high passion for leadership around this country that from time to time, he looks at the situation in the country and he sees that there's just still so much that he can do based on the fact that he's usually a very prepared person. And if you recall, in 1992, when they were starting this whole politics journey, he wanted to be president at that time. And at that time, they went to the Just Convention. Most people don't even remember. Those who remember choose not to say the right thing, and history is supposed to help people avoid the mistakes of the past and learn from it. Atiku had MKO Abiola, Atiku Abubakar, and Babagana Kingibe were the candidates for the aspirants for the SDP primaries then in Jos. Abiola had gotten some votes, not enough to form or to go with it. Babagana Kimbe had come second, not enough to go with it. Atiku had come third. And therefore, it befell Atiku to decide which of these two gentlemen will be the presidential candidate. Most people don't understand that against the backdrop of all our northern, southern, tribal, and all of the issues around the political divide of Nigeria, it could have been a lot easier for a deal to be done between Babagana Kingibe and Atiku, and Babagana will be president. But Atiku was made to see that it may not be such a bad idea, and he backed Abiola, and Abiola became the presidential candidate. Under that arrangement, Atiku was meant to have been the vice president, but when Abiola became vice president, when Abiola became presidential candidate, he opted to go with Atiku, Babagana Kingibe. Atiku did not really get angry like that. He just allowed the process to go on and continue to support. Eventually, fast forward, everybody knows what happened there. But what I need you to know, and what I need our audience to know, is that the man who became vice presidential candidate jumped ship, abandoned the process midstream. Atiku, who sacrificed and gave up his own mandate so that Abiola could win, stood with the mandate, stayed with the democratic forces, suffered tremendous damage and inconveniences, lost people that were working around him, got himself and his son Adamu shot at, all in the eras of the anti-democratic forces being in charge of our country. And he had to even go on exile. So what am I saying? Atiku doesn't just join political parties for joining political parties' sake. Atiku understands that the political parties are vehicles to try and form government to solve the problems of the country. And so when they are not able to meet the objective per time, the energy level and the passion in Atiku is strong enough for him to be brave enough to leave. Anybody who knows anything about politics and nation building, especially from the point of view of an intellectual, the person will understand that it is eternal cowardice that can make you see things going wrong in a political party and not be able to leave.
Okay. This is still Nigeria right now, and we're here at the campaign office of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. We'll be right back. Mr. Segun, you raised some issues about the 1993 election and the MK Abiola angle and all of that. What's your view about the recent confinement of Chief GCFR on MK Abiola?
I think that the president betrayed himself.
How so?
I'm going to explain. When a man stands where he stands in history, must be such that he must be consistently standing there because he has thought about it and has been convinced. June 12, 1993, and all of the issues happened a couple of years ago. In more than 20 years that the issue has been on the front burner, this year made the 25th year. Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has never offered any comments
on June 12.
In memory, in recognition, in celebration, in empathizing, anything around June 12. Even when he wanted to be president in 2015, June 12 didn't matter to him. He had an opportunity of celebrating about 3 June 12s until now. The 2015 one, the 2016 one, the 2017 one. And suddenly, when he's in the twilight of his administration, he does a very big recognition of the date and give up a lot of honor. What it does for me is that I fear that he has no integrity. For if he had been very persuaded about June 12 over the years, he would have said things over the years about it. And if he wasn't persuaded about June 12, he needn't go the whole hog of now trying to show like he was sanctimoniously now trying. I thought he was just playing a bit.
But some would say better late than
never.
If MKO is celebrated, is anything wrong with that?
I understand the need of the people to celebrate MKO and to recognize him, and I think he deserves every recognition and every honor done him. But one thing that is certain is that the hallmark of strong leaders is to look beyond the surface and question and query the reason. I fear that he's trying to take political capital and taking profit at the expense of a dead man, and I would have preferred that he had been consistent. If he wanted to convert June 12 to the date of the Democracy Day, he's just done May 29th, a couple of days before the June 12th. So you would have thought that, had he been thinking about it for a while? If he had been thinking about it for a while, why didn't he do that so that he doesn't even have to have a problem with? But anyway, may the soul and the spirit of MK Abiola and June 12 rest in peace.
Amen.
June 12 is a watershed in our democracy, but he also has some other things he's done for us.
Yes.
What it has done for us is that it's showed us that we can unite behind an idea. It's shown us that we're going to be liberalized, and it's better to have everybody's views and everybody's votes count. And I just hope that now that the president has suddenly become a Democrat of June 12 era, I just hope that he will translate it into free, fair, and transparent primaries and elections in the 2019, which is going to be the first watershed opportunity for us to see whether his democratic credentials has improved. And if what he's doing with the House of with the Reps and the Senate and all of the other organs of government, including judiciary, is anything to go by, I will just have to hold my breath. I hope that he has not given the whole nation
So are you having any doubts about the process for 2019 election?
I do not have any doubts about it. I think that what I would just say concerning that is that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, under Jonathan, took a very pragmatic, moral, ideal, celebratable decision by allowing a free, fair election in 2015, that when the party lost and the presidency lost, and Jonathan lost, he conceded. He conceded. He didn't even bother going to court. He just allowed power to be transferred. That's a watershed in our history. So I'm saying that the build up to the 2019 election,
yes.
if the president who's in charge of the country now has become so democratic to the point that he's able to dig up the grave of MK Abiola to shore up his own image, let him just go the whole hog by ensuring that the election process is very free, is very fair, is very transparent, and everything goes in an orderly manner. If he does that, then I'll let him have the accolade that he deserves for recognizing Ginger. If he doesn't do that, I'll just say, just like I thought, he had only gone to spit on the grave of a dead man.
This is still Nigeria Right Now with Dixon Irebu. We're here digging on those issues that Atiku wants to come change about our country, Nigeria, and here the spokesperson of the Atiku campaign organization. Okay, let's go straight up to security.
When Atiku becomes president, Atiku will find it extremely difficult to sleep well at night if this much bloodletting was happening underneath his watch. The management of the security apparatus of a nation of a military officer is different from how you'll expect in the hands of a civilian. One of the greater areas where you would have expected President Muhammadu Buhari to demonstrate capacity would be in managing the military, the security architecture of the country. Obviously, he has not done that. He hasn't done that because we have contained one problem with a lot of difficulty, which is the Boko Haram problem, and the same problem has metastasized into many other places where there's no part of Nigeria that is safe now. And let me tell you something. Have you not observed that the systems by which they are trying to solve this problem is not working? You can't have enough soldiers to be able to cover everybody in the country, in every village and in every hamlet. And if these things are not abated, something needs to happen.
So what will Alhaji Atiku Abubakar be bringing?
Well. First and foremost, I need to remind you why he will have the opportunity of doing better. Remember that Atiku Abubakar used to be a custom officer.
Yes.
And most people do not also know that he was one of the super cops of his own time who had great responsibility to manage the entire northern borders of the country. Therefore, Atiku Abubakar understands the management of the borders of the country, so that it is easy for Atiku Abubakar to be able to know and to be able to deploy his experience on the porous areas of our border, given that that's what he's done successfully when he was in the customs. That's the first part. The second part is that I'd asked Atiku one day, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar once, that what are you going to do about security? What do you think about security? Because I thought that security was a major issue for all of us. And His Excellency has said to me that, look, one of the reasons why he's convinced that we must restructure, and one of the reasons why he's convinced that he will be able to do well for the country, because he can expand and get people to get jobs and create a bit of new hope and make life more bountiful for Nigeria, is because he understands that the first thing that comes onto the table when poverty is on the increase in the land is violence and insecurity. And he also said something that was a bit ingenious. He said, he, being a Fulani man himself, he has fond memories of how they lived with their neighbors and how it was normal for them to get into, for Fulani headsmen to go into other people's towns and villages and go and see the leaders of the hamlet and village and have some relationship with them and all that. And that he also had cattle himself. And therefore he wonders why we're not going back to figuring out how to get native authority people to take more roles and be more interested in what's going on in the environment. And he also said that he felt that you really can't militarize everywhere. Therefore, you need to dialogue more. You need to call people together. You need to figure out what the root cause of the problem is, and you need to come up with a program that can work for everybody. And you know what? The fact of the matter is that nobody in this country has said anything consistently and intelligently on how to restructure the country like Atiku has done.
Talking about that issue of restructuring, what areas exactly would you think Nigeria?
Well, for starters, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar is of the opinion that it's time now for the government and the center to get a bit smaller. And one of the things that he's very sure he will do is that he's considered it significantly that all the things that come on the concurrent list. That means those things that the presidency can do and the states can do and the local governments can do. Atiku Abubakar has convinced himself that all of those things be signed off to the states. So that means some areas where federal government has no business owning, like Federal Ministry of Agriculture, you don't have land, you are doing agri. What's that for? That you can farm it to the state and let the money, the budget money, follow it to the state, so that where you need the work done, the authority and the backing is there. Atiku is strong on that. If you did just that, you would have created significant impact in the way the country is administered.
So what would be the challenge of those who are against restructuring? What is their challenge?
Well, most of the problems.
And how will you allay their fear?
Most of the problems that you have with the people that have led us for some time now is that they've been ill prepared. We have had circumstantial leaders. Atiku Abubakar has 4 things that he does that differentiates him from every leader or most leaders in Nigeria.
1, please.
He reads a lot.
2.
He consults brilliant minds.
3.
He is not afraid of intelligent people or cutting them and bringing them around him.
And what's the 4th one?
He builds consensus. Atiku runs his businesses on a maxim that says we will go with the best idea on the table. Now, the next thing is that, how did he even constitute those that are around that table? Atiku will go to any length. Let me tell you one story, just to digress, please. In 1999, most people don't know that these issues were not resolved because of any other person than Atiku. The first of them is that you got debt release. Nigeria got debt relief because Atiku had gone, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar had gone to America to do a function. And on the side of the function, he had asked a question to the president of the World Bank then, that look, Nigeria just knows that they owe debt. We don't even know our debt. Can you find us somebody that can track our debts and let us even know what we owe and how we owe? We've just come into government. That was what produced Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. That was what got you debt relief. Put that as check number 1. Check number 2, because Nigeria was a pariah state and we had been military era and all of that, we had been declassified in the financial world. That means that if you wrote a letter of credit, they had to bring the cash physically before they can honor it. And because Brazil had also gone through that, Atiku Abubakar had gone to Brazil and he had asked them, how did you guys get your certification back so that the banking and the economy of the country can grow? They then told him about EFCC. Atiku had come back into the country, done a paper on EFCC, got EFCC. And because he had heard the story of a super cop who was being victimized and not being promoted because he was strict and was non-bending, Nuru Ribadu, and he had done something to get him reinstated with his rank, he just thought, okay, if there's a super cop somewhere, let's go and call him. Atiku went to get the super cop, put him in charge of EFCC. Even when President Obasanjo grudgingly agreed, he wasn't ready to give any seed money. Atiku had to go and figure out how to get them seed money from the office of the BP under Nasir Over, whom he had found earlier, and put there and got them the seed money to start EFCC until they were able to get their budget. That's who Atiku is. It was Atiku that figured out, with a group of brilliant people, people like Bode Augusto, people like Akin Kekere, people like Soludo and Co. They sat for 8 months quietly in Atiku's work until they were able to develop an economic blueprint for the country. It was after they had finished the entire job that Atiku again, dutiful, put the memo before Obasanjo, and you got what was now the most robust period in the Nigerian economy, where we were having continuous and sustainable growth until we got to. So I'm telling you, I'm describing to you a man that you need to know, and this country must leapfrog. We only need to look at our neighbors.
And do you think your party, the PDP, will give Atiku the ticket to run as president of Nigeria?
PDP.
How sure are you on that?
PDP.
Yeah.
Let me speak to my leaders now in PDP.
No, I would like to ask, first of all, before you speak to them.
Yes, you asked me a question that I need to speak to them.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I tell you this, Nigerians and my leaders and the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria must know one thing.
Yeah.
We've had 16 years in charge. In those 16 years, our golden era was the years between 1999 to 2007, when the joint ticket of Atiku and Obasanjo were in charge. We have lost government. Some mistakes and errors have been made. We've been sitting it out for about 3 years now. It's not enough for us to say we want to be president or we want to get to the villa again. We have to, first of all, make sure that the vision that we're bringing and the message we're bringing to the Nigerian people and the person that is coming to lead us in Nigeria is someone who we know can lead us. And if you're not bringing Atiku, I can say almost with the surety of daylight that you would have shortchanged this process and you would have shortchanged the party. What does Nigeria need now and who can fit the bill? Nigeria has never been so divided since even we have been around. And you need somebody that can join us back together. You can't join us back together by wishing us to be joined together. You must have earned the reputation of cutting across board before you can join us. Since the loss of Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, Atiku is the only other politician of northern extraction that everybody across Nigeria has a sense of belonging, that they own him. Everybody feels comfortable about it. So you first of all need that to get Nigeria together, and the PDP had better get that. The second thing you need to understand is that this country right now has major issues with creating jobs. Everybody's kids, people's kids are finishing schools and they cannot get jobs. Government is no longer able to employ everybody. Now, if you want to create jobs, you need a leader that knows how to create jobs in his own private life. Do you know why America is doing well today? America is doing well today because the president of America, Donald Trump, can do tough negotiations.
The deal maker.
He can do tough negotiations. Atiku has been creating jobs. As at the last count, he's done well over 250,000 people on employment, direct and indirect. I think on the payroll every month is close to 50 to 60,000 already. And he's created businesses that opportunities where people hardly see one. So you know that Atiku knows how to create jobs, and the industrialists and the business interest of Nigeria, they need to know that that's the kind of person you need. We're bringing an Atiku that is very strong on the need to restructure the country and make it more egalitarian. We're bringing an Atiku that knows how to get people united. We're bringing an Atiku that knows how to build consensus. We're bringing an Atiku that is not going to run a one-man show.
So you're saying that PDP needs Atiku and Atiku needs PDP?
Nigeria needs Atiku.
I want to thank you for having us, first of all.
It's a pleasure. Do you like our office?
Yes, wonderful.
Like the ambience.
Wonderful place.
This is what we want to do for the whole country.
We look forward to that.
We want to do for the
look forward to that.
Thank
well
you.
done. We look forward to having more of you on Nigeria Right Now, please.
Thank you.
This is still Nigeria Right Now with Dixon Iregbu, and of course we've heard from the spokesperson of the Atiku campaign organization, Mr. Segun Sowunmi. What are those issues that the nation is faced with? Why Atiku? He's reeled them out, and you've heard. One particular area that I have, held on to from all that he said is Atiku seems to be a unifier. And on this show, the purpose is to promote patriotism. Those who will lead our nation are right. And that seems to be what Atiku stands for. And that's why we came by here to hear from the spokesperson of his campaign organization. We look forward to seeing what the 2019 will look like. We hope, and very hopeful, that Nigeria will become great again. Until I see you next week, and we'll come together again to discuss Nigeria. This is still Nigeria Right Now.
The three main points, I try to convey is, first of all, the need to deepen democracy in Nigeria. And the second point, the impact that will have on the rest of Africa, particularly the West African sub-region, where Nigeria, dominates. And thirdly, it is only when you have a stable democracy that you can also expect a sustainable development.
Don't look government, inna the rain again.